In the heat of the Cold War, two titans of supersonic travel were born. One became a legend, an icon of luxury and a marvel of Western engineering. The other was its Soviet doppelganger. It was faster, and it was the first to fly, but it would be remembered for a much darker reason. This is the story of the Concorde versus the Concordski, a rivalry that was about more than just speed. It was a symbol of a world cut in two. So, how could two jets that look so similar have such dramatically different fates? The race to break the sound barrier. The 1960s. The Cold War is raging. While the space race has the world looking up, another high-stakes battle is being fought in our own atmosphere. The prize, supersonic passenger flight, flying faster than sound, wasn't just a business idea. It was a flex of national genius, a billboard for technological might. The United States, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union were all in the race. The dream was to build an airliner that could outrun the sun, shrinking a transatlantic trek into just a few hours. For the leaders of these nations, building it first was about proving which system, capitalism or communism, truly owned the future. Out of this pressure cooker of politics and pride, two aircraft emerged. From Western Europe, a joint venture between Britain and France produced the elegant Concorde. And from the East came the Soviet Union's answer, the Tupolev Tu-144. The race was officially on. Meet the contenders. Concorde was the poster child for international cooperation, born from a meticulous partnership between the British Aircraft Corporation and France's Aerospatiale. It was stunning, advanced, and built with an obsessive focus on precision and reliability. Meanwhile, behind the Iron Curtain, the Kremlin handed the Tupolev Design Bureau a simple, non-negotiable directive: be first. The project was fueled by enormous national pride and, as many reports suggest, a healthy dose of industrial espionage. Soviet spies were said to have swiped thousands of Concorde's technical documents and blueprints. This likely explains the Tu-144's uncanny resemblance to its rival, which quickly earned it the nickname Concordski in the West. On December 31, 1968, the Tu-144 roared into the sky, beating Concorde's first flight by 2 months. A few months later, it became the first commercial transport to break the sound barrier in a test flight. On the surface, it was a massive win for the Soviets. But while the two planes looked like twins, under the skin, they were worlds apart. The Concordski's early victories were hiding a dangerous secret about what happens when you rush innovation. Section 3, Brains versus Brawn. So, which machine was actually better? On paper, the Tu-144 had some bragging rights. It was a bit bigger and faster, clocking a top speed of Mach 2.15 to Concorde's Mach 2.04. But speed isn't everything, and the real story is in how they got there. The biggest difference was the engines. Concorde was powered by 4 revolutionary Rolls-Royce Snecma Olympus engines. These engines did need afterburners for takeoff and to push through the sound barrier, but once at cruising altitude, they could supercruise at Mach 2 without them. This was a critical achievement that made Concorde efficient enough for the long haul across the Atlantic. The Tu-144, on the other hand, was a brute. Its early Kuznetsov engines were incredibly thirsty and needed the afterburners engaged for the entire supersonic flight. This absolutely crippled its fuel economy and range. Later models, the Tu-144D, were fitted with more efficient Kolsov engines that didn't need afterburners for cruise, but these saw almost no passenger service. The design philosophies were also night and day. Concorde's highly advanced ogival delta wing was computer-controlled, providing incredible stability at all speeds. The Tu-144's aerodynamics were less refined. To fix its poor handling at low speeds, designers added a unique, and now iconic, feature: a pair of small, retractable wings near the cockpit called canards. These mustache canards were a clever fix for a problem that Concorde's superior design simply didn't have. Even landing them showed the gap. Concorde used cutting-edge carbon brakes. The Tu-144, like a Soviet bomber, had to pop a drag parachute just to stop on the runway. The Concordski was faster, yes, but Concorde was smarter, sleeker, and more advanced in every way that truly mattered. Section 4, Tragedy in Paris. The rivalry came to a dramatic and tragic head on June 3, 1973, at the Paris Air Show. With the world's press and aviation experts watching, this was the ultimate showdown. First, Concorde took to the air, performing a smooth, flawless demonstration that showcased its power and grace. Then, it was the Tu-144's turn. The Soviet crew, reportedly pressured to one-up their rivals, attempted a far more aggressive flight display. After a high-speed pass, the Tu-144 pitched up into a dramatic climb. Then, it abruptly nosed over into a violent dive. As the pilots fought desperately to pull up, the immense G-forces were too much. The left wing tore from the fuselage, and the aircraft disintegrated in midair, raining fire and debris onto the town of Gusainville below. All 6 crew members and 8 people on the ground were killed. The official cause remains debated. Theories range from pilot error under intense pressure, to a catastrophic structural failure, to a controversial claim that the Tu-144 swerved to avoid a French Mirage fighter jet that was allegedly trying to photograph its unique canards. Whatever the reason, the disaster was a devastating blow to the Tu-144 program, shattering its reputation and planting a seed of doubt that it would never overcome. Section 5, Flying in Style versus Enduring the Flight. Beyond the specs and the airshow tragedy, what was it actually like to fly in them? Here, the gap between the two becomes a chasm. Flying on Concorde was pure luxury. It was the domain of rock stars, royalty, and CEOs. Passengers sipped champagne and ate gourmet meals while cruising at 60,000 feet, high enough to see the Earth's curvature. The cabin was noisy by today's standards, but remarkably smooth. In a touch of engineering genius, Concorde even used its own fuel as a coolant for the air conditioning system, keeping the cabin comfortable. The Tu-144 was a different world entirely. By all accounts, it was a punishing, miserable experience. The cabin noise from the roaring engines and a crude air conditioning system was reportedly so deafening that Western journalists had to pass handwritten notes to speak to the person next to them. The interior was cramped, and basic things like window shades and bathrooms were prone to breaking. It wasn't a luxury airliner, it was a high-speed endurance test. Section 6. The Fall of the Concorde. Despite the Paris crash, the Soviet Union pushed the Tu-144 into service in November 1977, mainly for propaganda. But its career was a spectacular failure. It flew passengers on just one route, from Moscow to Almaty, Kazakhstan. The route was chosen in part because it crossed over sparsely populated land, just in case there was another disaster. In total, the Tu-144 completed only 55 passenger flights before being permanently pulled from service. The plane was famously unreliable. Systems failed constantly, and cockpit alarms were a regular part of the flight. The final nail in the coffin came in May 1978, when another Tu-144 crash-landed during a test flight, killing 2 crew members. After that, the passenger fleet was grounded for good. Its commercial career lasted less than 7 months. The Concorde was born from political ambition and died from rushed engineering and a disastrous safety record. So what is the legacy of these 2 supersonic giants? Concorde flew for 27 years, becoming a timeless symbol of technological beauty and ultra-luxury travel. It was never a true commercial success, but as an engineering triumph, its legacy is undeniable. It proved that safe, routine supersonic passenger flight was not just a dream, but a reality. The Tu-144 is remembered as a cautionary tale. It was a testament to Soviet ambition, but also a stark reminder of the fatal flaws of a system that put political deadlines ahead of sound engineering and safety. It was first, and it was faster, but it was ultimately a failure. In a strange post-Cold War twist, the Concorde's story got one last chapter. In the 1990s, NASA, in a partnership with Russian industry, actually leased a modified Tu-144 for its own supersonic research program. The American Space Agency used the former Soviet rival as a flying lab to test technologies for the next generation of supersonic jets. It was a final, ironic epilogue for an aircraft born from espionage and rivalry. Ultimately, while the Tu-144 may have won the race to get into the air, Concorde won the war. It did what its rival couldn't. It captured the world's imagination and, for a generation, delivered on the incredible dream of outrunning the sun. If you enjoyed this look into aviation history, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more stories like this. And let us know in the comments which of these incredible machines fascinates you more. Thanks for watching.